Hey folks, NXT went off the air, but Unpopular Review is going on the air. This is the Unpopular Review NXT review show. We were once a duo. Now we are a trio. I'm one of your hosts. You know this voice. I'm the great Grand Slam Poobah. I'm joined with the sensational Sabrina, Estella, and a part of the crew now. Go ahead, take it away, because before we started this show, you came in with a burst of like flames. You was just going off. So I'm going to give you the floor, and why don't you tell the people who are not familiar, and they should be familiar with you, who are you on this Tuesday night?
All right, so typically I know certain people like Jeff and George is gonna being here and gonna be saying, "Oh, that's Frecklesensei." But right now, as you see the name, and after where I just came from, I came from a Star Wars premiere season finale premiere event for Skeleton Crew that is on Disney Plus right now. Yes, I be having access to something, unlike some of you haters in UPR. But anyway, that's for another time. But I just wanted to address the fact that my name right now is not Frecklesensei, it's Fyre itself. Because there's a lot of people that has brought out of this dark force out of me. And I went and talked to Padme. Then I went and talked to Anakin. And Anakin said, you know what? Sometimes you gotta pop up and electrocute some people. So today, I'ma just say it right now. And I know somebody's gonna clip this, but today, there may be some shows that like to criticize and say that the wrestlers are trash, but if you watch their videos, it's the worst fucking wrestling I ever seen in my life. Then there's also another show that said they're great, but the thing is, they only lust after one woman. Then there's another show, and unfortunately, Tony Khan is just in control, and we just really don't be caring. So there's only one show that has a review show.
Oh,
that is the best show, undisputed show, 3-time winners of best show of UPR, 3 times, and each and every person on this show has won a prediction. Each time, each and every one on this show has the best views, the best comments, the best fans, and that is now the NXTrio. It ain't no rated R review. I made that shit up. They need a new damn name. It's not the SmackDown show at Penitentiary. The Penitentiary has been shut down. Nobody even cares about tribal chief no more. It's all about Cody Rhodes. And AEW, like I said, I love the AEW review show. It's AEW.
Freckles, my friend. I hear you, my guy. I want you to take a breath. I want you to grab some water, because I know you was going off. And you can't go wrong with a Capri Sun. Let's get into this chat real quick, because the first person that's always there is George. He says, hello, everyone. When we says, what is going on with you, George? He says NXT was pretty decent tonight. It was. We're going to talk about it. We got Miss Thug Angel. Hi there. How are you? Glad to see you in the chat. We also got George. I'm just going to call you Frecklesensei. And we got Miss Thug Angel. She also says, you were the chosen one. You were the chosen. One of my favorite lines, I don't like Star Wars, but one of my favorite lines was, I got the high ground. I think that's always fantastic.
It was wild.
And we got Jeffrey Reimer in the chat. So before we start the show, and I know like we're already just 3 minutes in. First things first, we want to say thank you guys for clicking on our faces for the review show. We appreciate you guys. I mentioned Jeffrey Reimer. Now, if you guys don't mind, if I can only have 33 seconds of your time. Jeffrey, he came to me one time and he said, yo, Jack, it would be cool if you put some matches on here, because I play 2K24. And I did a match for him, and I'm going to blame him for this. Do you guys mind if I play this clip?
Yes, please.
Okay. I blame, and I want everyone to boo Jeffrey after this, because it raised my blood pressure when this happened. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this clip, and we're going to talk about NXT. Look at this. Injustice. Ow! Holy shit! Oh no! No! Oh, that's not good. Tell me I have something. No! it was very.
If anybody saw me laughing, I was not laughing at him. I was laughing at what he was saying because it was funny. Meanwhile, this one's actually laughing.
How many Scooby snacks did it take for Scooby to win that? First of all, for Scooby Doo to do a go to sleep is wild.
Get those Scooby snacks. That's what it's called.
You know what's very upsetting? When people make this game, they don't know, like, why was Scooby 100 to begin with? When did Scooby ever shoot a fireball to begin with? It's very upsetting. This loss was just, it was the greatest loss in history. And when I lost, I immediately blamed Jeffrey because I said, I wanted to do him a favor. He's my best friend. I said, oh, you want to get a match? Sure. And I lost to Scooby-Doo.
Oh, God.
But you know what's really upsetting before we get in any further? I'm trying to add some creative characters. So I got Kermit the Frog and stuff. So I Googled, I put NXT for wrestlers to see, like, hey, what people I could find or anything like that, right? Why did someone put Jesus in the NXT thing? I said, what are you talking about, guys? It was awful.
I mean, isn't that HBK already? Like, I'm just, he's like NXT.
That's terrible. What is going on? I wish I knew Steve. Shout out to Steve. We got oops.
He was upset in our group chat. I will say that right now.
Oh, I'm gonna do a rematch. I'm thinking about beating up Kermit the Frog. How are we feeling about that, guys? Me and Kermit.
You know,
I was busted open.
You do whatever you please.
Thank you. I'm with it. I'm with it because honestly, if we're being honest, the show that was on doing, I forgot what channel it was, like 11 whatnot, the Muppet Show. Scooter ran that show. It wasn't Kermit. That was Scooter's show.
Jesus.
Scooter ran that show.
I didn't watch the Muppet Show,
so why do we got
everybody in the chat put hashtag whoop that frog.
Whoop that frog. So with all that said, we want to say thank you again. Let's talk about some NXT. Let's break into it. Yes. While we so I know the show opened with I put trick by it's Oba Femi. Oba Femi started off. He talked about winning the NXT Championship last week. He also did this funny thing where he said, what was it? It was, people thought I couldn't do it, and he said, people say I can't do it. He had it in
that people
the accent.
Say that I never think I could do it, and then making fun of everybody in America that says that by talking in an American accent.
That was actually really good. I thought that was really funny. Now, there's a part I'm going to let Sabrina Estella take over here, if you don't mind, because I showed you earlier why I missed a good portion of this match. I promise I could speak, guys. I had this little fella in my house, so I had to help get him out. I want everyone to say hello to Mr. Cat. That's Mr. Cat right there. He was in the house, and that is Mr. Cat. I would sit here and talk about him for a while, but he hissed at me, so he's no longer in the Jack Pack family. He's been banished. But go ahead, Sabrina Estella, take the floor.
He's an angry cat.
He was
banned. I'm angry.
He was banned from the Jack Cat community. That's what it was.
Yeah, that was damn Jack Cat community. That's good.
But anyways, he also was talking about he came in here day one saying that he was backed by destiny and that his career is played out. He puts Trick over for his accomplishments, saying he has a ceiling to hit, but Oba says he's got no ceiling and called Eddie Thorpe a piece of work, a rat, a deceiver, a piece of gum that's stuck on your shoe that no matter how much you try to scrape it off, and and then he gives him a first and final warning. Anyone else, he can annoy anyone else in that locker room, but next time, we don't know what next time will be because D'Angelo comes in. He congratulates Oba, saying he was in the back of the family. Heard him say he was the longest reigning North American champion, but as far as he's concerned, it's the Don and the ruler won, and reminds him that he's the one man that's beaten him. And when he decides to go for that champion, they both know he gonna leave as the double.
I'm sorry, because I didn't want to interrupt here. You know, I hear Tony D. Tony D. He got that one good win, right? That one clean win. I forgot where they were at when they were traveling. But the other time, it literally took his family in a crowbar to take down this big man. Please, Tony D. Please stop writing new fairy tales. And you know what? I hope he does get this rematch, so Tony could just throw him out of the NXT locker room. Not because I have anything against Tony D, but Tony D sitting here acting like I'm the mountain. No. No, you're not. But Freckles, what did you think about this segment?
So y'all know, yeah. So if y'all been paying attention in in the group chat, y'all know my biggest take about Oba Femi, that he is the M'Baku of NXT. At this point, he's the M'Baku of WWE. So it's like whatever goes on in NXT, he has his hands on. And I agree with you, Jack. I used to love Tony D. But Tony D is feeling himself a little too much for me. Like it's like the Godfather. It's like, you know, there's Michael and then there's Sonny. And Tony D is acting like Sonny, and he's not acting like Michael. Like he's on Sonny's level. And we know what happened to Sonny. He got Swiss cheese. But it's just that one win got to Tony's head. That one championship reign that was real short got to Tony's head. And I do hope that this rematch happens. I hope Oba squashes him so it gets him a reality check. But I also think, and I might be wrong, but his right hand man may turn on him.
You know, there was a few times back then where it seemed like he was going to turn on him. I don't see it now.
It wasn't. That was all just a ploy to get Gallus guard
to
down.
drop their guard down. Yeah. No, that was. I think it was another time too, but
that was the only
because when the other guy came in, like when the new guy came in at the time, he was feeling some type of way.
And then George is helping us out here, Eddie, because I missed all that. But so Eddie attacked him, and that's going to lead to a match to them next week, right?
Before that,
sure.
He gives Tony a belated Christmas gift, which is a picture of him being dressed as Santa and attacking him the last time that they were together in the same room. And he gets out of the ring saying he'll sign it for him, and then they just beat each other out of the ring and out of the arena. And then in comes Eddie Thorpe from out of nowhere from behind, attacks him, drops him with the DDT, and then hits him with a loaded punch with holding a leather strap in his hand, and then pulling up the other strap to show that he's going to be the one to take the belt. And I'm just like, crybaby Eddie, you ain't going to win that belt from that man. No way, no how, anytime damn soon.
No, he's definitely not winning. And, you know, I thought about that, too, because, like, I know a lot of wrestling fans, they immediately go with, well, this person is not going to win. He's not going to win. But, oh, okay, we wanted to make sure. Wasn't sure of our guy, Freckles. But he's back here. Is he? There he is. But, you know, Oba needs people to beat. And Eddie is a fine opponent, and it's fine, you know. Like I expect whoever the first person was going to be against him was going to beat Oba anyway. I see Oba holding his title. You know, I saw a question on X, and I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but I'll throw it out to you guys. How long do you think? Oba should hold the NXT Championship. I think 8 months.
I said 7-8 months. So
okay,
same. About 7 a good 8.
Yeah, because I don't. Go ahead.
Moving up. I see him moving up fast. Like I see Oba moving up. Like of course Trick is gonna move up before Oba. That's just my opinion. But I see Oba getting that like fast push, like Braun. I feel like he's gonna get that fast call up.
I think so. With Oba, it's funny. I forgot who I was talking to. I might have been talking to myself. I just talk a lot, guys. I think that Oba Femi. I don't think you have to even call him up this year. I think if you do call him up, it would be towards the end of 2025. But I would save him for 2026. I don't think you have to rush him.
I will say though, they'll say like he'll get caught up probably like next year. But I will say though, if they're doing, because you know rumors, but we over here at UPPR, well, some of us here on UPPR, yes, I'm throwing all shade today, but some of us in UPPR, you know, do the depth of dirt sheets. But there is a rumor of like the Royal Rumble being more than just 30 men. So
I heard something about that.
It's going to be 40 for both.
Yeah, I heard something about that too.
Oba could be
I mean, even if it were 30, he could be called in to do it as one of the NXT people that they.
Yeah, and they've done that. They've done that plenty of times. I mean, just to look at last year alone, they had Braun and Mello in there.
Mello, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then even before they had Keith Lee just going at it with Brock.
Oh yeah. And that was quite a moment. Let's get to some of these chats real quick here, and we'll get to the next. We'll get to the first match. We got Miss Thug Angel. She said, "Muppet Babies was lit." I do remember that show. Yes. Happy 24th birthday, Dakora J. 24. God, I remember when I was 24, and that was years ago. Scooby versus Bad Guy Jack. That was terrible.
Jeez, that was 10 years ago for me. Fuck, I'm old.
10 years. That was like 13 years for me. Jesus. Tony.
For me.
Don't make us feel older than we are.
Yeah, no. Sabrina still. No, she does because I thought about last week, and she said, "Oh, I wasn't even born when SpongeBob. Oh, I was 3 when SpongeBob came out." I'm like, "What?
What the?
Oh my God! I just heard my knee crackle."
Seriously, I feel like my back went out of place.
I put some. Did you put WD-40 on your knee too? Because I did that.
I did.
Oh, okay, there you go. Said Axe is Damien and Caden Carter.
No, Caden.
They're not. They're just friends. They make TikToks. They do the whole one looks like they're always annoyed with the other, but they always hang around them kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because they take pictures together as friends doesn't mean nothing.
No, it doesn't. I'm not gonna lie. The last picture, I kind of did think something, but I always just mind my business. George says Tony is 2-0 again. No, that's not true. Actually, Oba beat him. Yeah, he beat him one time. He beat him one time. Yeah. Who's the one? Jeffrey Rhymes. Oh, I don't know who's got two beef.
Question there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is your guys' beef? That's his gimmick, Tony. We got Tony D got a big head ever since winning.
Exactly. Yes.
Eddie Thor attacked Oba from behind. We got Ridge. He's not George is not a fan of the Ridge. I love Ridge Hollins. I'm sorry.
I like that likes Ridge.
I am the only one that like Ridge. Anytime that you could get ready to fraudulent chase you, you have won me over, and we can make biscuits together. No, not biscuits. No, what was those things called? Muffins. Yes. I will share ginger ale with you. Tony D looked like a wannabe Godfather.
He does.
That's the gimmick.
It is the gimmick.
He's not Michael. He is not Michael. He is not his dad who was the Godfather. He is Sonny.
Trick is definitely getting his rematch.
Oh yeah.
6 or 7 months.
Fair.
Stand deliver where I can see Oba dropping. No, I don't see him dropping it.
No.
No.
Because one, Oba needs a stand and deliver moment. Oba needs a stand and deliver moment.
He does need more. I agree.
Giulia, no, I don't think so. I feel like Giulia is one of those people that she don't even need the title. She just got the title because
you're talking about Giulia.
Yeah, I feel like she doesn't even need the title at this point.
That was in 2011. Yeah.
It was.
Don't remind us how old we are. Yeah, Sabrina, you gotta chill with that. You're talking about a lot of guys in their mid-30s, and here you are, like just this
uncle.
I am a legit uncle. I know that feeling.
I'm a legit uncle, but
I'm an aunt too.
There we go. Okay, all right. So we're the uncles and aunts that show up and teach these kids. Good Chris says I was 24 in 2012. Speaking of Andre, did you see him sleeping in the lot? I did.
He wasn't sleeping. He was just sitting looking like lost, like dazed. Like, what am I going to do now? That's all he looked like. He wasn't sleeping.
I loved all of it. I know that doesn't surprise anyone. I just wanted to get that out there. Sabrina, why don't we talk about Stephanie Vaquer against Shotzi? I do want to sit here and say real quick before we break down this match here. I didn't think we were going to get a winner. I thought that there was going to be some foolishness, and it was going to lead to a triple threat.
Foolishness gave us a winner of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we had Ethan Page in the locker room talking about how he had his talk with The Rock, and everybody.
But real quick, because Freckles says he's going to be heading out. So Freckles, I know you're going to join us full time next week. So why don't we say goodbye to the lovely people watching? And
look, everybody. I will give y'all my actual review next week of why I'm dressed up as Miles and I showed the dark side. But anyway, the event was amazing. Actually, NXT overall, I'm gonna say was good for the most part. I was double dutying. I was watching Star Wars on the big screen, then I was watching NXT on my YouTube TV app. And overall, I'll give NXT like a 7.5. I give it a 7.5.
Wow, that's a big rating.
Out of 10. But y'all tune in. Y'all please like, subscribe, share to UPBR, to this show in general. Just this show. I mean, I'm being petty. Just this show. Don't go over there to Monday nights. I mean, come on now. They don't even use Trojans. And then don't go over. And then don't go over to SmackDown. If you want some real authentic WWE content, if you want some real funniness, if you want some authenticity, transparency, whatever thing that I can add with an E, no Jaquez, come to NXTrio. And that's it. I'm cold as hell outside with this doggone onesie on, and I'm out.
We'll see you next week, dude.
All right.
All right. Sabrina, Estella, please take the floor.
Anyways, like I was saying, we had Ethan Page bragging about his interaction with The Rock. Nobody was paying attention to him. Then he turns to Dante Chen asking, "Oh, what did you do? How have you been?" Not even paying attention, trying to drop some of The Rock's lines. Dante Chen didn't want to hear it. And then after what he did with Javon, nobody wants to talk to him. He mocks the man for having to talk with wired jaws, and Dante Chen, annoyed by it, gets a match made so them can go at it, which we will talk about later.
Sure.
Then we get Stephanie Vaquer versus Shotzi Blackheart for the title, and they did pretty good. I don't have anything negative about the match. They both held their own.
Yeah.
I didn't expect tomfoolery to happen because they have fighting champions and they have champions that like to say they're fighting champions, but really don't want to fight that much. And Fallon Henley is one of them because she went out there. Well, JCJ went out there first, and both Shotzi and Stephanie attacked her.
I love her.
And then when they're busy with all that, Fallon comes in from the back and hits Stephanie so that Shotzi gets the win. And I'm just thinking, wow, they really did this because they scared. And we know that Steven was pissed in the chat because he said, and I told him, because he said he's going to write a letter. And I said, if you want to write a letter to somebody, write a strong white woman letter, as you would say, to Fatal Influence, since they're the ones that did your girl dirty.
Look, and Steve is a lovely man. Steve is probably like the handsomest guy.
Credit to Fallon because she's the one that's going to be fighting Stephanie eventually.
And I hear all of that, but there's a few things I want to address here. I was very upset when you said they are scared. JC's not scared. That's why she got in Stephanie's face. Now, look, Stephanie's a great wrestler. I think she's fantastic. But anytime anyone lays hands on JC, I immediately take a dislike to them. So, I definitely. Where is it? Oh, you know what I did, right?
We haven't seen this for a while.
Sorry, Stephanie. Oh, I don't know how to spell for curse. I'm just gonna put V. And thank you. Listen, I cheated on my 4th grade spelling test, so I know spelling is nowhere near my gig. But I also want to get here that JC led the charge. That's what I keep saying to you guys. And I need people to listen and start opening their ears and washing their ears. Use a Q-tip. Use the thing where you put water in your ear. All I'm saying is JC has always been the leader. That's why she was first in charge. Then Fallon followed behind. And honestly, she did a terrible job. I was, like I said, surprised at the ending. But we're going to get Shotzi against Fallon. And look, Shotzi is not winning. You better not.
You know that.
Don't you do that, Steve. Don't you do? I already said you're good looking. Don't do that to me, Steve. He said you better not put Stephanie on the list. Don't do that. I'll take back my good look comment. I'll take that back. I take back stuff. I do that. But I can't do that to Steve. We had tacos together, so he's family forever. And I like him. He's a good dude. But yes, Stephanie is looking for them, and I don't blame Fatal Influence. I get mad. You know why? I get mad, and it don't really take much for me to get mad. But EC is out there. He sees this injustice, and he's just sitting there. What, do you have 100 giant knees? Can't you get up and help?
No, he can't get up and help. And even if he wanted to help, the only person he would help is the one that he doesn't even refer to himself as a future Miss Ex-wife anymore. which we will talk about once we get to that match later today.
What is the?
I'm going to call him out, and then if he wants to jump on here and say just a second and go on and on.
No, absolutely not. Stephanie. I'm sorry, Sabrina. Absolutely not.
After the show's over, I'm not saying now.
Oh no, he could do that, and I'll be asleep. What is it? 10? Oh, it's 10:33. Yeah, I'll definitely be asleep after. Absolutely not. I will be
drinking, and he can't say to our face.
Well, I take NyQuil to go to sleep, so I definitely won't be paying attention. We have this next segment with Kalani Jordan. She's pretty down. She's out. Yes. She just feels like
we have Soul next to her and Zarya. They're trying to encourage her to use her losses as motivations to, to be better, to get some wins, and to move up in the and maybe get a title shot for whether it be the North American Championship or the women's title. And then Cora Jade comes in and moans and groans and whines and bitches and complains about, if you weren't in there, I would be champion. Well, guess what, sweetie? You were knocked out long beforehand, okay?
Ooh.
And there were two other girls in there besides you and Kaylani. It was Lola and Stephanie. And guess who came out on top? It wasn't you, sweetie. Relax.
Not you saying sweetie.
Kept getting in her face and make Kaylani go to the point where she slapped her across the face, and she black girl slapped her. She gave that slap that was so loud.
She did. She put it. Oh no! She definitely put a lot of stink into that slap. No, that was a slap. Let's get to the comments real quick before we go to the next stuff. We're definitely gonna get a triple threat match. That's what George is saying. Jeffrey says, Jeffrey has really increased my blood pressure tonight. JC can't mind her business, not surprised though. And then he put an LOL, like he tried to soft that, not even tweet. What is this? A comment. Try to soften the comment. Not good enough, Jeffrey. Stephanie Vaquer went after JC Jane, and JC was scared of her. George should be thinking he's cooking, but instead he goes.
Too, because I'm just peeved with the way CW is doing some of the editing for their stuff, but.
There was a few hiccups here. No, I do agree. Not the list. We got Good Chris in the chat. He says Stephanie. I keep saying Stephanie. I'm sorry. Like now it's in my head. Sabrina Estella is looking good today. And the great Grand Slam Pooba is looking handsome today. Good Chris. Goodness gracious. You are just so done. You are definitely getting my vote for fan of the year. So watch your back, Rhymer. Because you have competition. Stephanie Vaquer, thank you. I was told not to put her on the list. I'm sorry, I did it. No, Fallon led the charge. George think he be cooking a lot of times, but instead he caused a grease fire. We got New H May says hi there. Happy New Year's, guys. Happy New Year's to you too, sir. Boo JCJ. That is just rude. Just a second. Oh Lord. That actually got to be a shirt at some point. I gotta say. I got a new haircut.
Drinking rules for that one, so
there we go.
We're turning that one into a drinking game. We need to have a UPR themed drinking game. That I'm gonna write some stuff down and figure that out with everybody. It'll be fun.
Oh, that would probably be the worst game ever, but I'm totally down for that. New H Man says I got my new haircut, I got my new game keyboard, and I got new shoe. Wow, you got a lot of new stuff. Good for you, man. Good for you. Sabrina is Stephanie Vaquer. You are.
Don't be surprised if I cosplay as her in the future.
Oh, you would knock that out of the freaking park. I'm sorry, I had to catch myself there. We got Chris. I have final list: Roxanne Perez, Cora J, Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, JC Jane, Fallon, Henley, all on my fine list. It's not a bad list. Those are all pretty girls. What else have we got here? Kalani Jordan slapped the mess out of Cora J. Totally.
Like I said, she black girl slapped her.
Nice hair tonight. New H Man. She slapped the taste out of the birthday. Yeah, that's a hell of a way to celebrate your birthday, right? People take Kalani kindness for weakness. I'm going to be interested in the next few weeks on what they do with Kalani because they've been definitely trying to put a little bit of an edge there. And I feel like them having Zarya with her, there's a reason behind all of that. So that should be interesting to see what that leads to. We got Lash carried tonight. I honestly thought, and we're gonna get to that, but I really thought Jakara was actually holding her own there. She's still like I don't want to sit here and say like 5 stars at the Tokyo Dome, but I could see the improvement in the match. So I thought she did pretty well in there. I don't think she was just carried. I think Lash definitely did a lot. Like Lash would do the bigger moves and stuff like that, but Jakara definitely held on. Fallon Henley's the leader. Okay, George, we get it. We get it. You just trying to throw wood in there. I'm not worried about good Chris. You should be. He's a threat. Right here. I already like this guy. The next thing we got said, of course she did. We'll get to these comments in a little bit. What is the next segment here, Wrestling Doll?
So we have Ava Rain in her office with Stevie and Mr. Stone. And Oba Femi comes into Ava's office and says he's going to destroy Eddie Thorpe, even if it takes giving him a title shot and beating him down to the ground. And Ava says, look, as much as I would enjoy watching you beat Eddie Thorpe down to the ground, I'm not rewarding bad behavior by giving him a title shot. And Robert Stone comes in and tells him that Eddie is playing you like a fiddle. And so he grabs the man, picks him up, and slams him onto the wall and says that he's the champ, and if he wants Eddie Thorpe, he's going to get him. And then Ava says, all right, fine. Next week, how about that? And that makes him very satisfied.
There we go. What was the next thing? Oh.
But you played into his hand again. This is the same thing he did to avoid getting in a match with 25 other men for a title shot.
All right. After that, I believe it's the Ethan Page versus Dante Chen.
A.K.A. the squash match.
Yeah, it really was a squash match. There wasn't even really much to...
I'll be honest. Everybody knows I like Ethan Page. Everybody saw our top 5 male wrestling crushes. Everybody knows he's my second wrestling crush. But even I wasn't even really interested in this match. I was literally on my phone looking at stuff on social media. By the time I looked up, the match was already over.
Yeah, I don't think this match was meant to go for the long stay. It was just a show.
To show that Ethan Page is going to keep beating people down and trying to break every single mid-card wrestler that they have in there right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're just doing this to give him some steam. Obviously, he's going to be having a match with Javon soon. Not sure when. I don't know if it's in 2 weeks or anything. They haven't.
He can complain.
Yep. Yeah, and they haven't said anything yet. So, yeah, I mean, Dante Chen, every now and then they dust him off and then they throw him out there and...
Well, I mean,
hey, listen, not for nothing. He gets a reaction, though. I'll say this, not for nothing. He does get a reaction. The one time that I've ever seen him live, and I was impressed because I haven't seen him in, I don't even know at that point how long. And when I think about Dante Chen, I remember when NXT 2.0 first started, and he was one of those guys that they were highlighting. And I guess injury, and then a lot of other people surpassed him, and there was other people that they wanted to focus on. So he gets a reaction and everything like that. So people do care. But yeah, this match was nothing, and it was a setup. And Javon gets punched in the face, and he starts bleeding. And Ethan Page is
Page really pulled down Dante Chen's kick pads so that he can put his bare leg into the steps and sandwich it and make him cry in agony.
Yeah, no, he took his shoe off and then like drop kicked it or something like that. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. But yeah, it was nothing. It's nothing really to talk about. But I do want to talk about this one. I mean, unless there was another segment here and I forgot about. But please take the floor and we break it down.
Talking, Dion congratulates him and says one day he's going to challenge him for the title. Then after that, we have Sean Spears trying to recruit yet more people for his cult. He's trying to convince Adriana Rizzo that the family doesn't have her interest. Izzy Dane comes in and tells him, I didn't need you. Neither does she. Shoo. Even though Adriana says she had it, I was like, yeah, girl, for once, no, you didn't. Izzy actually helped you and did you a favor. And then we had Carmen and Ashante talking, and they keep going on. He's saying that Carmen says that he better make it official. He gives a rose saying that he wants to start everything over, not be a player no more, and wants to start with her. And she says, about damn time. They kiss, and I puked in my mouth for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm like, thank God it's all over. But I'm just like, ugh.
I love that for them. Love in the NXT locker room. It's so beautiful. And Ashanti, he finally realized that.
From February, but from Valentine's Day, but still.
It's so wonderful. and now they're together and they're official. And let's see where this story goes. Good for Ashanti. Na 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 na. Let's talk about because that was like 3 different segments in one, right?
DIY coming to NXT, and they
Uh-huh.
said people say that Fraxium is the greatest tag team in NXT history.
Mhm.
And they said, as the best tag team in the world, they have to be 10 steps ahead, and one day they will have to fight them. So they're gonna go and watch them and see what they got to work against. And then we have the match that we're going to discuss: Jakara Jackson Lash Legend versus the Unholy Union of Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn, which in our group chat, we were told not to talk because the one that calls himself the future Mr. X, Queen Aminata, told us that we couldn't talk because Jakara was in the ring. And I'm just like, you call yourself the future X, Mr. Queen Aminata, but yet you drooling over Jakara still. Meanwhile, we had Dice saying, gross, Jakara's in the ring. And he doesn't care for the Unholy Union either.
Not for nothing. If I could just say real quick. If I could just say,
even though the other 3 were very dominant in that match.
I wanted to say, like, I thought these girls really went out there and put on a really good match. Like I thought it was. I was interested in seeing because Lash Legend have really just grew a lot. Like he not steps and bounds. That's not the term, but grew leaps and bounds. She's definitely have improved. And there was a spot here in this match where you have Jakara in there by herself. And I thought she did some spots she did very well. I thought she did there was this one spot that she does, and I don't know if she does this all the time. Maybe it's just because I'm not paying attention. But the spot where she holds her opponent, runs up to the ropes, and does like a arm drag thing, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that looked kind of crisp. I thought it was really good. I thought this was good, and I thought that the Meta Girls winning, I can't help but go like, oh, that's dope. I'm for it. So, yeah, I mean, like Jakara, because I feel like Jakara gets a lot of like flack and all this stuff. And I gotta say, and I'm not saying this because the EC's in the chat. Shout out to him. He was at NXT, so everyone say what up to EC. I thought she really held her own. And Unholy Alliance is a really good team. They just don't get a lot of TV time, but they're a pretty solid team.
Yes, indeed they do, and they showed why the people should still pay attention and remember why they're there in the first place and why they did become, at one point, tag team champions.
Right, and I thought they made them look good too. I mean, like, there was a lot of there was this really good spot here. It was the choke. It was the way how Alba sold it. I thought that was actually pretty cool. The way she sold that chokeslam. But I thought this was a really good match. Like I got into it. I felt like it kind of started off a little slow and then started getting to another gear. And I was like, okay, I could get behind this. So yeah, I'm for it, man. So yeah, I thought this was a fun match. What else did we got on? Matter of fact, you know what, Wrestling Doll? We're 38 minutes in. We should do a commercial, right? I mean, you guys got to see the Scooby-Doo screw job of the century, but we're going to give you a UPR commercial. We're going to play a commercial. We're going to be back talking more NXT. Where are these things at? I'm sorry, the way this whole thing changed up. All right, we're going to play a commercial, and we'll be right back after these words.
Joe Tessera, as he's looking at the camera, as he's supposed to be looking at the camera, he's reading the damn script in front of him, like he does every single Raw. But everybody's acting like so good.
What's wrong with that? Yeah, I heard you complaining about poor Joe Tessera looking at his
How many times do you see Jim Ross and Michael Cole, Vince McMahon, and Bobby Heenan or whoever, when the camera's looking at them, they're not looking down their nose reading the whole time. Michael Cole sometimes will look down just for little clues, and I can accept that. This man's looking down like he's reading cue cards the entire fucking time. His whole segment is there. Every time. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. We're here in Lowell, Massachusetts. Main event tonight is what are you doing? Look up here, man. Look up here.
Wow.
So Monday Night Raw, right?
Yeah.
They showed the camera to Joe Testicle. Joe Testicle was talking to us, right? And he was talking to us, but he was also talking to somebody else. You know who it was? It was Sami Zayn. And every time Joe Testicle was talking to Sami Zayn was putting down to his notes. Every time to let him know if you don't know what's going on with my storyline, look down there.
You're so wrong. Why you gotta come after this poor man?
I like him. When I don't,
you like him?
Yeah, I do. What? I do. When I hear him in commentary, right, and they're not showing the camera on him, he is perfectly fine.
That was UPR shorts. I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing some more shorts. You can see the executive consultant and one Big Daddy Cool. You can also catch them on Monday nights right after Raw goes off the air. They were on last night. I felt like they had a star-studded show. It was him. It was EC, Big Daddy Cool. You had Venomous Venny. He was there. You had Mike Knox, and you had Russell Dog. Did you know that Willie still works with us?
No.
See? But he was there. It was amazing. Like, he was there for more than 5 minutes. And I love that for Big Bro. Shout out to one Steamin' Willie Beeman, longest reigning UPR heavyweight champion. I know this because he keeps reminding me every 5 months or every 5 years when we see him.
Even though he doesn't communicate a lot in the group chat unless from time to time. But speaking of those that communicate in our group chat, I know that Mr. Mike Knox will be very happy of the Black Girl match that will be happening with the Glow EST versus the Meta Girls for the Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, someone wrote in the chat here, and I'm interested in hearing your thoughts here. They were sitting here saying, I think it was George. We see you guys chat, so forgive that we don't hit every comment here. But I believe it was George.
Times to Lash Legend of Jakara get.
Yeah, how many times are you tired of that?
I mean, if they want to keep giving them title shots and having them improve and work more with other people, then they can do what they want and see what they think works with it. Just like if they want to make Lyra the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, then so be it. I honestly was thinking it was going to go to Dakota because she has a more interesting wrestling style to me, and she talks a little better on the mic. But if they want to put Lyra as the inaugural champion, I'm not going to have any problems with it.
I have no problem with it at all. George says Lash and Jakara ain't going to win. And the executive Harris says don't be surprised if they win.
His face will probably be the same face that he made when the Tribal Chief lost during WrestleMania, a.k.a. Roman Reigns. Not Solo, because he's not the Tribal Chief. He never was, and he never will be. The same face that he made when Roman Reigns lost to Cody Rhodes. He'll make the same face when Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson wind up not winning against Bianca and Naomi.
Oh. I do think the possibility is there for it to happen. I don't know. But I'm kind of leaning towards that. Speaking of which, we're talking about the women. We had Cora Jade taking on Kalani Jordan. We got a special appearance.
We did get, we got Lexus getting his plaque on the cup.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Everything that it represents. Charlie Dempsey rolls up to congratulate him. And Ren Sinclair is trying to call out, saying that he cheated, that he used the knuckles. Lexus says it was an accident. She doesn't believe in trying to get a rematch. And she says that she agrees and that he deserves a rematch. But then we hear a crash, and then outside on the doors, on the metal doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Rich Holland and Tony D going at it in the parking lot.
So question, was this something I missed earlier in the show? Like, was these guys fighting earlier in the show? Or was this something? Because I feel like I missed something.
He said he was going to sign that picture that Ridge gave him. They were fighting in there, and then they literally left the arena fighting. So I'm assuming that's what they were trying to insinuate, that they were still fighting as that was shown.
We see you, Mad Dog. What's going on?
If anybody wonders why I'm looking down and such, I'm working on customizing a shirt. So
fantastic. We got said real quick here. Said she's definitely eating the KOD. And we got Jeffrey who says, especially how Bianca accidentally hit Naomi with her braid, that could be some friction. It's. I can see. So in my head, this is what I'm thinking.
Into a factor, but they'll also think, okay, these are our titles. We can't risk losing them. We were almost about to lose them because Jade got attacked by somebody. We ain't gonna lose them now, even if it's some black girls like us.
I think that if it was Bianca and Jade, I think the Meta Girls wouldn't win. But I could see in this scenario Naomi eating the pin here. So I'm sitting there beginning to think like maybe that the possibility of them winning is a lot higher for me now. Before it was kind of low, but now I'm like, it's I can see it happening. We got I don't know if I should highlight this. I'm gonna make sure. No, the most underrated women.
You mean what is it?
Oh, the exact consultant. Rin Sinclair is great. I'm sorry. I think she's fantastic, and she's added.
Listen, I just want to say this. I have been on
Sure.
the Ren Sinclair train since she was Maddie Rinkowski when she wrestled on AEW for a little bit, went to NWA wrestled and became tag champion, and then came and got signed on to WWE. I've been on that train for a while. If they've been on that train longer, then so be it. But I've been on that train for a hot minute, and I don't find her underrated. The people love her, so maybe she'll get a title shot for something in the future.
Well, she said underrated. I thought I'm mistaken. That I thought that was overrated. But yeah, no, I don't even think she's underrated. I think she's getting her shine now, and I like that for her. And honestly, the stuff that she's been doing with, I almost said OTM. Well, what are the initials here for this thing? NQR. There's a lot of letters here, guys, so you got to bear with me. But the No Quarter Catch Crew, okay? All right, this is so many freaking letters. Do you know how hard that is for me? But anyway, she's been so great for the No Quarter Catch Crew. Because I almost said OTM. I don't know why AFC came to my head. That's not even initials to anything. I am so stressed. I need a ginger ale. All right, what's the next segment? Someone give me a ginger ale.
Well, we have Cora J versus Kehlani Jordan. And we got to see that Masha Slamovich, the TNA Knockouts champion, was in the audience, actually, scouting out the talent that we have over here. So there's our first bit of NXTNA of 2025.
I love ginger ale.
And, I mean, match was good. They both did their thing. They have good chemistry working together. Cora J gets the win, which is good, especially because it's her birthday. And I was thinking, if they had this woman lose, we're gonna be like, when was the last time that she actually got a win? But at least she got one.
It's been a minute. No, it's been a minute. And she needed a win. They need to put some steam back into her. And I also think with Kehlani losing, you could start putting into. I see a potential heel turn. I'm sorry, and what George is saying, he said he likes the aggressive side of Kehlani Jordan. So this is going to definitely make her a lot more aggressive. She's going to lean into it, and I think this is good for her. So this was the right thing. Oh, and Bad Chris in the chat, he says the collaboration is still on. Great to see Marsha first time in NXT, and just guys can help me out here. Cora J was sorry, the hiccups from the ginger ale. Cora J was staring pretty hard at Marsha. Are we seeing Marsha?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Say that one more time, darling.
she probably wants to go challenge Masha for a chance at that belt.
That is possible. Was there any other segment before we talk about this match with the NXT Tag Team Championship? Oh, you know what I wanted to... I'm so mad that I missed this. I do apologize. I'm going to interrupt you. But did you guys notice this? Because we talked about the women's tag team match. But did you guys notice this little hiccup here? I saw it because of Twitter. But did you see this, Wrestling Doll? They said number one contenders. What is wrong with this picture?
That they put JC in there instead of Alba. And no, I didn't see that until now.
I didn't see that until I was on Twitter.
I had to watch the show on a Twitch stream, so
JC should.
Because I'm not paying $72 a month for YouTube TV to use it once a month or use it once a week. Sorry.
I know no one
I
asked.
didn't do that.
I know no one asked me, and no one cares. But JC should have been in the match. But go ahead.
But we had Eddie Thorpe on Instagram where he talks about that it was a good night at work because he set the bait and Oba took it. Just like he knew he would. And shout out to Ava for making it happen. And that it almost makes up for her calling him a liar last week. Almost. And that soon all will be well when he's NXT champion. And I was thinking, she wouldn't have called you a liar if you weren't acting like the little boy who cried wolf, right? With how ironic it was with you talking about the damn wolves.
That is quite hilarious, actually. So a play on words there. Go on. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get the comments up so that everyone can see.
No, you're okay. So after that, we get besides a little promotion to talk about Red Cross helping out with the people affected by the fires in California, which I know a couple of people that are over there or that have lived over there or that have evacuated from there, and they're okay, but hopefully that all gets taken care of. And that's they said that they are hoping that they can provide a bit of a distraction from all of that. And then after that, we get Briggs and Inamura running into Fraxion backstage and said that they're talking about how they helped out those two from that brawl that happened a while back, and that didn't get their attention to have a potential match, and that they have next. And then OTM says after tonight, they ain't gonna be the champs. So you talking to the wrong ones. You should be talking to us. And that they've been chasing gold since day one, and when they get it, they ain't giving it up. They're gonna drag them through the mud. And then Inamura is confused why they want to mud wrestle, and they call him a comedian. And he said very seriously, he not no comedian. He knew he was this close to exploding. He said he's chaos, and then he explodes, and then they have a brawl.
No, I'm not doing this for them. I was this close to turning off the TV. Because when he said we mud wrestle, I was going to say absolutely not. But I was glad that OTM sat there and shut him down and did what they did. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, then after that, we had the tag match of Fraxion versus OTM. And I will say this. First of all, why the hell were they going to put that they came out with Jada Parker if she wasn't even there? And they didn't even explain what happened. They didn't even show if she got attacked by anybody or nothing. So we know nothing of what happened. So it was just very confusing. But I also want to say, I think personally, this was the best match that OTM has had since they became a thing in NXT. With Fraxion, this was their best match they've had.
You know, I think Fraxion just have the skill to bring the best out of you, honestly. There's a lot of people who, matter of fact, the executive consultant, if he's still in the chat, he said earlier he wasn't a fan, but he's starting to become if I'm reading this right, he says he's a believer. Fraxion is really that team. So OTM is interesting here because
last year for the NXT Awards.
I'm glad that they won Tag Team of the Year. But talking about OTM, I forget exactly if this was last year. I feel like this was last year. So the family were tag team champions, I believe, and Out the Mud faced them, and they had a really solid match. Matter of fact, even when I was like, oh, they're growing on me. I think these people now they definitely won me over when I think you guys already know when they hip tossed someone on the car. I was sold. I honestly feel like I see that it looked like they want to go Fraxion against DIY, which actually sounded like a really fantastic match. But I really just feel like, man, they should have put the titles on OTM. I feel like this was their time. They should have did it. Maybe it's just they're going to save it for a later date, but I just feel like now should have been it. I just personally think that they should have put those belts on them. And they didn't do it. I mean, Fraxion. At this point, I'm scared to bet against Fraxion because anytime I feel like you bet against them, they win. They just win. I honestly have to remind myself that because I thought this was a straight run as champion. I was like, oh, in April it'll make a year, but they did drop those titles to Chase U. Chase U, I forget when, but they dropped it. But still. Great match. This was fun. Matter of fact, the spot here, and this was somewhere I guess in my brain I was thinking, oh, maybe they're gonna drop the titles, because they usually do that Spanish fly into I think a Phoenix Splash finish. So when I saw Nathan do the frog splash from which was some great distance, it looked great the way the camera shot that. I was like, oh man, maybe this is the spot, and OTM like I don't know, make it come, but it didn't happen, and it was a good match. It was fun.
Indeed. And I was just thinking, I wonder how much of a factor Jada Parker could have played if she were actually out there.
You know, Seth said, shout out to Seth in the chat. He said, OTM has no momentum. They are freezing. They don't have, their momentum is not skyrocketing or anything like that, but they have more momentum than some people in the NXT locker room. Like people, I want to say they react to them and stuff like that. Like they've had some few wins and stuff like that. I think that, I don't think it's they have no momentum, but it's not as high as others.
Which is totally fair because that happens with everybody. But
to everybody, baby. What else do we got here on the docket? I think this is the main event, right?
That was the main event. But we have a final segment of the night. Well, before that, we had quickly a car rolling up, and we see somebody coming out with boots and pleather leggings on, walking out as we cut to the break. And I was, when they were saying, like, who is that? I was thinking to myself right away, it's Giulia. That's got to be Giulia. That's what I was thinking.
Oh.
But after that, we get Roxanne, who makes her way to the ring, and she starts talking, getting on the mic. And she says that when she won the title for the second time, nobody expected that she would hold it for 276 days.
Yeah, that's a long time.
She was making history because all she wanted to do was make women's wrestling special. All she wanted to do was make a women's division that could main event and that everyone could be proud of, and she thinks that they did that. They attracted the best women from around the world because this is the best women's division in wrestling today, which a lot of people will agree with. But that she stands without her title because unfortunately Giulia was the better woman. She congratulates her and all the fans because it's what we wanted, as sad as it makes her, which I don't know how many people didn't want that, but I know that I wanted it only because I thought she already did everything. She can move up now. But she says what's even sadder is the state of the women's division without her as champion. Because she says, do we really think that Giulia is going to take it to the heights that she did with 9 title defenses and making herself and everybody look better? Without her, this division is going to be lost. Past generations needed the 4 horsewomen, but this generation only needed 1. And I just want to say, in our group chat, Dice made a joke when the executive consultant was telling us to be quiet because royalty was in the ring. And he was like, wait, does Bailey show up? Where is she? And then in comes Bailey, who was our mystery woman that came out of the car. And she tells Roxanne that she's excited to be back, with everybody being excited, giving high fives and all that. And she came here because she knew that Roxanne was going to be upset about losing the title and that she's at a crossroads and that she can either bitch and moan or she can adapt. Roxanne says, I didn't ask for this. Bailey says, you asked for it when you were 14 and a little shorter back in Austin, Texas, and that I've been following her career and that she's proud of her, but the division's going to be fine without her, and that doesn't mean that she's not important, but that they're bigger than that. And she says that she's just like Natalya and CM Punk, that just telling her all this, and that she says that it goes to show that she's just like everyone she used to look up to. And she asked her, why are you even here? Do you think that NXT owes you something? That you might have set records? I broke them. And I could be your role model now. And Bailey says the difference between them is that Roxanne's going to be stuck here in her own head all along, while she goes to WrestleMania after she wins the title. On a brawl, Roxanne hits her. Bailey leg sweeps her, hits her in there, but then it cuts. And then
okay.
Like,
I was going to say, it cut off immediately.
We have to cut it off like that. Just like with Stephanie Vaquer going backstage looking for JC and Fallon to attack her after what they did to her. They put it in a picture, made it completely silent, and everybody watched was like, WTF? The only people that could hear were all in the performance center.
Yeah, so out here in New York, the news comes on right after. That's why the whole stuff with The Rock last week, and he was just talking, and they're not gonna cut me off. I run. They stop at 10 o'clock. They're gonna get that news out there. So I wasn't really surprised. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Roxanne against Bailey. Sign me up. We got so EC in the chat saying, actually, I can see that as he adjusts his shades. Oh, actually, we did not hear anything. We got Said in here who says George Lewis. Yep, might be Roxanne way of getting to the main roster without being drafted. I mean, or it could be a thing where Bailey goes to NXT. Like Bailey could do that because like they've done that a few times where a main roster person goes down. So it's not necessarily they're calling her up right away. Not right away, anyway. Go ahead, madam. You was going to say something.
Or Roxanne comes into the Royal Rumble like she did the last couple of years, and then eventually, in a few months' time, she gets called up to the main roster, does some of the other non-televised shows that they have over there, and then eventually gets put onto TV. Maybe she gets a fast run like they did with Braun and like they did with Fyre, I guess.
I just want to say real quick before we end it, because you went through the promo and you did a fantastic job. I thought this was great because at first she really got me. Where I was like, oh, she's doing the whole babyface thing.
I didn't think she was going to do that. I think she's going to make it seem like it and then just trick us again.
And I like that in the middle, and I love that in the middle when she started going. But then a lot of people liked when I lost the title because I would want to start talking back trash too after when everyone's like, oh, so you're happy that I lost the championship, and then talk about me. So this is some good. Matter of fact, did you see this earlier in the show? I forget what segment this was. If you guys remember, please put it in the chat. But you can see Shawn Michaels in the back talking to Roxanne. And I just like stuff like that sometimes. Sometimes it's like, it's almost like you have to watch just to see what's going on. I don't know if anyone else peeped that, but I saw that, and I forget what segment it was. And I just wanted to mention.
Probably around when, during the Sean Spears bit, probably around before that. Or maybe it might have been like maybe when Stephanie was doing the whole walking around looking for JC or Fallon, trying to find them.
It was a little bit after that one. It was a little bit after that. That other segment, I could see it being around that time. But yeah, it was a little bit after that. Real quick, let's just get into the chat real quick because we're going to call it a show here, guys. I think I already clicked this one. Talking about Jeffrey. Roxanne is going to cost Bailey. George wanted us to know that. Main roster talent can go down. Exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be
Shotzi.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example. Thank you. That's a fantastic example, actually. George said he saw that. Good Chris says Roxanne Perez versus Bailey at WrestleMania 41. See, I don't see that being at WrestleMania 41. I see that definitely before that.
It doesn't need to be.
No. And George says it was the Sean Spears Rizzo segment. Okay, there we go. That sounds about right. Okay. Yeah, good job. Good eye. But that's really the show, guys. We want to sit here and say thank you. I feel like I didn't say a lot of this in the beginning, so forgive me. But if you've watched UPR enough, you already know. Please hit that like button. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that reaction button. Share it in your wrestling group chats. All that lovely stuff. Help this brand continue to grow. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification button because you just never know. I mean, yeah, we do the Monday Night Raw. We do the NXT, the AEW, and the Friday Night SmackDown shows. But sometimes we might do a top 5. We might do a random emergency episode. Who knows? So hit all that stuff. There's a link also for the entertainment side of things. There's some great stuff going on that side of things. I mean, they just wrapped up the challenge. I'm pretty sure there's some other movies that they're going to be reviewing, so please hit that. Also, all social medias, as you can see above, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, still calling it that, Twitter, Twitch, and we have a Patreon. So please hit those lovely things. We're going to have like a lot of content going on there. Yes, subscribe. I'm still mad at you, Jeffrey. I lost to a dog. You didn't get the other comment, but I literally said, what was in his paw?
Apparently them Scooby snacks, because that's what you got. The GTS, it stands for Get Them Scooby Snacks.
You think you're so funny, don't you, Sabrina?
I don't think I'm funny. I think I'm a little clever. And occasionally,
no, you're not a little clever. You are very clever, and it's upsetting me because I have no witty comeback, and it's very. You know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. And after that, I nailed this bastard. I fought Shaggy, and I brain busted him through the table, and it made me so happy. It was so good. I wish you guys could see that clip, but I don't have it on me. I'm so sad. But you please subscribe to all those lovely things. Frecklesensei could not be here entirely for this episode, but he'll be here next week. He'll be here entirely. The NXT trio is going to take over, and we just want you guys in the chat to join us for this ride. It is going to be a hell of a ride. Listen, I could do some more of these 2K things. If you like some stuff, throw me a name. Who you think should be in the ring with me? Who should I could do a special referee. Maybe I'll do Jeffrey and George in the ring. No one would ever win. Let's get into this real quick. How come he never laughs at any of my jokes? Sabrina started with the Scooby snack. You know, you're really selfish, George. You're just holding your laughs. You know I make funnies too. Could have been worse. It could have been. I like Scrappy. I don't know why you guys hate Scrappy. I love Scrappy. He was the best.
He was annoying, mainly.
You know how I hated? I hated Scooby Dumb. Like, that was really no need for that. Sabrina Starr is so funny and pretty. GTS, get the Scooby snack. But there's one S, so we're just giving a GTSS. Okay, guys. Let's do these plugs here because I talked about all these other things to subscribe and all that stuff, but we have a lot of content here on Unpopular View, this network, this channel. It's a fantastic channel. We like to have friendly rivalries between the shows from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and all that stuff, but we're all one brand. We all stick together. So Sabrina, Estella, why don't you do what you do? I'm going to click this button and you can tell these people the show, the time, and all that lovely joint.
So Monday night you have the Mike Knox show at 6 p.m. for the intelligent wrestling fans, followed by a Monday night Raw review show with the executive consultants of Venomous Vinny and many others. NXTrio with myself, Greg Cranston, Puba, and Frecklesensei starting next week. AEW Dynamite with AEW Women and Friends. Top 5 annual prediction shows on Thursdays. I'm sorry, AEW Women and Friends with Cactus Katie and Cher. And then on Friday night, SmackDown reviews on Saturday afternoons with the Zia Silent and Vic the Mark.
A lot of great shows, a lot of great hosts. Please check all that great stuff. Good Chris in the chat, and I think it's very important that we put, because we have some side projects, but it's all still underneath the Unpopular Review banner. Sabrina, Estella, why would I fight Bruno Mars? I actually like Bruno Mars, but because you asked for it, Jeffrey, bad guy Jack, Bruno Mars, you got it. Actually,
even those that respect each other wrestle in the ring.
Huh?
Even those that respect each other will wrestle in the ring.
You
can wrestle well with your best friends.
One of my best friends
beat the crap out of each other.
Who's that? Morgan Freeman? I don't want to beat up Morgan Freeman. I like him.
No, you don't have to beat up Morgan Freeman, but if you like Bruno Mars, he could be your best friend that you can trust well enough that you can beat the crap out of each other.
Oh man, I gotta get this clip ready. Don't worry, Jeffrey. You know what? You want Bruno Mars? You got it. Sabrina, Estella, you have a YouTube channel. It is growing. You are putting out some content. Please tell the lovely people, because we have in the chat, good Chris, he said, I subscribed to this channel and your channel. Tell these lovely people your channel.
Well, I have my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I go throughout Central Florida, occasionally south, to watch wrestling matches and put them up on my YouTube channel. Not that long ago, I was at a show in Tampa, Florida, where I got to see someone who very rarely makes appearances in the indie scene. One Mr. Malachi Black from AEW. And wow. I did make a new logo, so.
Hey, that looked cool. It kind of gives, was you inspired by like Sailor Moon? Because some about the pigtails look like Sailor Moonish.
Oh, well, it's not really pigtails. It's more like, it's supposed to be one of those like long cameras that photographers use for those really good pictures. I just literally on a editing website and just put videographer, and that was the one that caught my eye. And I just changed up the colors. Which, when I realized after I put it together, looked like those cups from the 90s, the white ones with the teal and the blue and the purple on it with that pattern.
All right, lovely, lovely. Freckles is not here, but we have a link to his Twitch. He be gaming on there. I mean, he would do a better job on talking about what his Twitch channel would be, but please subscribe to that as well. He plays Fortnite. I know he's been playing a lot of it's just that Marvel game. I can't think of it. It's not All Stars. It's a Marvel game. I'm sorry, I just can't think about it. But it's fantastic. Please subscribe to that. The Big Pop Theory podcast right now is taking a little bit of sabbatical, but we will be back later in the month. But please subscribe to that. We got some things, and I guess we could just talk real quick as we get ready to end the show. George said Penta had a great match against Chad Gable last night. What did you think about the match?
I said I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I'm not a big Penta guy. Oh, there we go. Who?
Sorry, I like that they didn't make it a squash match. Otherwise, that would have made Chad Gable look bad.
I heard the one thing I heard is that they had
people not happy with it because it took too long, and the segment that he did afterwards took longer than expected.
But I'm glad that they didn't make Chad Gable get squashed too.
Unfortunately, these things happen. Remember, we had tribal court that lasted over half an hour.
Yeah, and I'm glad too that Chad Gable, because Chad Gable deserved better. Like, he shouldn't lose in 2 minutes or anything like that. And it also gave an opportunity for people to get familiar, because not everyone knows of Penta's work. I had a friend, Lily, asked me who's that. So it gave an opportunity for a lot of people to get familiar with him.
Not everybody watches Lucha Underground, and not a lot of people watch AEW.
I thought it was cool that they actually mentioned stuff like they mentioned TNA and Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground will get talked about a lot. Not that I'm like, I watched it like that. I think I watched an episode or so, but when you see people talk about it, it's like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, both men looked great. Good Chris. Bad Chris in the chat. He says, is Marvel. Oh, thank you, Big Pop Theory Podcast. I appreciate that. Bad Chris says, Marvel Rivals. Thank you, Bad Chris. Tony Khan dropped the ball with him. There was one more thing I wanted to highlight real quick, because this is really the show here. Oh, I wanted to highlight this. This is going to be the end comment, because he got Sonic in it, and I just want to highlight. Disney is mad that Sonic the Hedgehog movie is dominating Mufasa, like how I figured. Good job, Sonic.
That came from the Mufasa movie, which I just found this out not that long ago, is the audio that people keep using from the song about the brother. I didn't know it was from that movie until today.
What, there's a song? There's a Scar song?
No, there's a song about protecting your brother. Like, I'll play an audio clip of it after we're off the air, because I don't want us to get
copyright. Right. But we don't want no copyright. They should have played it. Once I hear it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be like, Damien should have played that after he pinned Finn yesterday. I'm getting my Finn Balor joke out the way, because it's a safe zone. Don't know when pass this word too. Anyway, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. We always appreciate you guys. We're going to be back next week. Tune in tomorrow for the All Elite Women's Cast. It's going to be great. It's called I Wanted a Brother. That's the name of the song. Is that the name of the song? I Wanted a Brother?
I always wanted a brother.
I didn't want to see Mufasa, because Mufasa is a terrible father. Like, he took a nap the entire Lion King movie just to leave Simba alone. Don't you feel like that's terrible parenting? He left Simba on his own
the entire time.
He was asleep. Like, he was asleep the entire movie. What was he doing? What are you talking about? He was asleep the entire chat. Wasn't Mufasa asleep in the movie? I felt like he was asleep the entire.
Not. I used to watch that movie every day for like a month. My mother told me when I was little, I used to play it on VHS.
I saw the movie too, and Mufasa was asleep. And Simba Simba kept saying, "Wake up, Dad, wake up!" And he was too busy sleeping.
Wake up! He was dead.
Oh, did you see him die?
Yes, because he was killed in a stampede.
Did you see these things run him over?
Yes, we all did.
No, we didn't. The camera zoomed out. It zoomed out. He said, "Ah!"
Yeah, we saw the stampede still going, and they killed him. Disney's not going to show him getting stomped to death.
If I didn't see it, it didn't happen. I'm sorry. Mufasa was asleep. It's terrible. And I know this is upsetting everybody, but he was asleep throughout that movie. I'm going to make that a thing. 2025.
In the comments is George. Jeffrey's not even on your side.
Jeffrey has betrayed me a long time ago. You guys are
about JC Jane is on your side.
I love that woman. I love her. Anyway, guys, that's the show. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in for the nonsense. We'll see you guys for next week. Where's our outro? Oh, I guess we can hit end stream. Sabrina, so say goodbye to the people watching. Bye, guys.